with with a heart buzzing of so much excitement and gratitude in wonder, we are here on this glorious day to welcome in season 2 of the Forward Movement podcast, where we are talking all about education reform. What do I mean by that? We're gonna find out this season, honeys. We're gonna dive deep. We're gonna dive deep with so many guest speakers who have raised their hand to join on into this conversation. And we're gonna elevate and co-create and redefine the essence of education reform together. Because it's not my ideas, it's not my vision, it's not my project per se to move forward, but it's a collective movement. It's like-minded humans, and I say like-minded in the way of individuals who are passionate about education reform. That is the like-mindedness. Like-minded individuals that are coming together to shape and mold and stretch and mingle with what is to come for education. I'm going to back it up here for a moment. You see, Renée, the founder and the host of the Forward Movement podcast, have been working with youth for a very, very long time. I studied early childhood education, elementary ed, family child community studies since 2009 in different ages and years, of course. And I've been working with youth much, much longer than that in many different capacities, whether it's nannying, babysitting, teaching dance, teaching rock climbing, teaching academics, fostering emotional well-being, supporting individuals to simply be a human functioning in the world that has been set up for a very small percentage of people. And I say this being a very small percentage of people, because when we branch out, when we zoom out beyond the educational structures and systems, and we look at humanity as a whole, speaking specifically for the states, because that's the only thing I'm able to orient to right now in my own life experiences. I don't have the means to speak into any other areas of the world regarding education, because I have not yet had the privilege and the opportunity and the drive within to explore those areas. So we're speaking specifically for the season, education reform within the realm of the states, the United States. The public school, the private sector, the nonprofits, whatever it may be, the system as a whole. Because I promise you now, actually, I don't make promises. So what I will say is I'm bringing into this conversation right now that there is a thread throughout every single aspect of education that I'm noticing. And it's a system, it's a structure, it's a container. Someone enters the space, you are to fit into that space. And this is directly connected to what I was about to say a moment ago, of when we branch outside of the educational system and we look at humanity as a whole within this country, we are going to find that a large percentage of humans are either depressed, deeply anxious, or not actually very happy at all. They're moving through the grind, they're going through the motions, they're disassociating and numbing out. There's a lot happening. And I speak from personal experience, of course, and also I speak from what I am seeing. What I am not speaking from is any statistic. I'm not speaking from any study out there. If you are passionate about this conversation, then you may find yourself excited to explore different studies and statistics that represent the information that I'm sharing right now. I'm simply stating what I am seeing, what I have felt in my own body, and what I am noticing within either the educational structure and also the world as a whole within the country. So it's not the world as a whole, because the country isn't the whole of the world. This season, we're going to explore so many different viewpoints around education, and I'm certain we'll also talk about different ages as well. I worked with infancy to middle school ages, and also high school, but not in an academic setting, only in rock climbing and also dance, when I used to teach dance for high schoolers. When we're looking at specifically the educational system though, it's been infancy to middle school. And there's something very powerful happening, everyone, from my own experience, is that in the system that is education, regardless if we're looking at early in the day, later in the day, public school, a different sector, there's a container that people, students, are entering into, and they're being asked to learn a certain way, behave a certain way, create a certain way, communicate a certain way. Regardless of what system we're speaking of, just education as a whole, this is what's happening. There are many conversations out there right now happening around education. Some of these conversations are looking at unschooling. Some of these conversations are looking at homeschooling. Some of these conversations are looking at keeping the public school sector and also finding ways to tweak and mold. There are many other conversations regarding education that I haven't yet spoken into in this short, brief moment, but are very much happening. And what I am looking into, meaning what I am seeing, is that when we're speaking of education reform, what must be in the room is accessibility. What must be in the room is the changes, the structure, the essence of what we're seeking to bring forward for youth, for families, and for community, possible across all platforms. And not necessarily the belief of the educational aspect. This is what I've come to realize, everyone. It's not necessarily saying, hey, you know, everyone should learn how to be in a Montessori setting. Everyone should learn how to be in a charter setting. Everyone should learn how to be in an outdoor learning space. It's not that. What I'm curious about is, what is the overall structure? What is the way in which the system of education throughout can be held lovingly, that offers the flexibility and movement and momentum for different kinds of learning and different kinds of teachings to be brought forward? This is something that I'm very curious about, and I'm wondering if it's going to be brought up this season. We'll see. It's all dependent on whatever moves through the different guest speakers. It's simply a wondering I have. And when looking into education, how powerful it may be if we release the grip as adults, functioning adults, contributing to society. What if we release the grip just enough to have space between the fingers to become curious of different ways of doing things in this world that are, once again, accessible and obtainable for all? So, you know, we can't ask the system to be in a way where everybody's living off the land. We can't ask the system to be in a way where everybody's homeschooling. We can't ask the system to be in a way where there is this deep opening and flexibility to do whatever is being desired to be done. But I do wonder if within the space of loosening the grip, we as a society, we as a whole, we as the individuals who are really passionate about education reform are able to play and dance with the idea of, you know, you can still have a public school setting, but what if we removed standardized testing? We can still have a public school setting, but what if we removed the 8 to 3? We can still have a public school setting, but what if we've removed time periods for lunches? We can play with different ways of being in a system that is supporting the masses. Because not everybody has the opportunity to teach at home, and not everybody has the opportunity to move into a grand, expansive field and teach their youth there. And not everybody has the interest to either. Like, there's a lot of people that don't want to do that. There's a lot of people who probably want to have children and then send them to school so they can go to work or do their own things that light them up while their children are at school. So as we loosen the grip, we have the opportunity, we being us, the people tuning in, the people excited about the reform, are able to play with different ways this current system is able to be molded into. This is very exciting. It's very exciting because when we do that, then what a domino effect is going to happen is that humanity in the workforce will also have to change. And it already has been changing, everyone. You already see it, you know it's true. There's a lot of people working from home. There's a lot of people who have flexible work schedules, and there's a lot of people working for themselves. We no longer need that system of dropping children off at 7:30 and picking them up at 2:30. That's a long day. I, as an adult, am unable to do that. Why are we expecting youth to be able to do that? Why are we expecting youth to be able to function and have emotional regulation if the adults in this world, in this country, are unable to do so? It's a very important conversation that is directly connected to education reform. And what I would love to see this season, and I am almost wholeheartedly certain in some capacity it's going to be brought up, is this. We cannot speak about education reform if we are not speaking about the educators. There are so many educators who are deeply burned out. There are so many educators who are in the system and not liking what they're doing. They wanted to support youth, but that they entered the space of schooling and they're like, hold on, I don't want to do it. But that's what their studies have been, or that's what their passion originally was. And it's really hard to transition work fields once you're in it and once you've had that experience for so long. Once again, I speak from experience. It's hard for me to transition out of the world of ed because that's what a very large percentage of my life has been focused on. So we cannot speak about education reform if we're not talking about the educators. Are they burned out? Probably. Are they emotionally regulated? Probably not. Do they have the capacity and the time to tend to their own emotions? Probably not. Sure, maybe the school has like a once a month wellness care day. Or they send in treats and it's filled with like donuts and bagels. We cannot talk about education reform if we're not talking about the educators. So what I'm very curious about, everyone, is as we enter this season 2 of the podcast, and we elevate different conversations from different guest speakers coming on, and we contemplate and play with the ideas that are moving through this space, and play and contemplate the ideas and the conversations that are outside of the Forward Movement podcast happening in different areas. May we lean in with curiosity and wonder of what is possible as we loosen the grip of what has only been known for us as students ourselves, and also as parents or adults or educators who have only known the system. So, honeys, we are entering a new season. And I'm so excited. I am so excited to welcome in any and all guest speakers that are coming on who have that seed within them that is happy and excited and passionate to elevate what is on their heart regarding education reform. And as we move into season 2, may we together drop the idea and the notion that the system won't change. I do not accept that. I'm not available for that. What I am available for is the opportunities that are present. I was going to say available again. To shift, to mold, to change, to dance, to grow, to get flexy. It's possible. It's possible when we release the fear of the unknown, because ultimately education reform is directly connected to the unknown, because it hasn't happened yet. Oh, may we all take a deep breath in. If you are driving, do not close your eyes. If you are not driving and you feel safe to do so, close your eyes. Maybe you wiggle your shoulders. Maybe give yourself a little smirk, or wiggle your toes, or wiggle your fingers. Maybe you tap on your heart and your chest. Remind yourself that you are in this body and you are safe to explore the notion of education reform. And lastly, before we close out this beautiful brief conversation of introductory today, an introductory episode. In one way or another, may you wrap your arms around your body, chin towards your chest, and whisper the sweet word, love. I love you. I am proud of you. And I am brave. Thank you so much, honeys, for tuning in, and we are so stoked to welcome this season. Much love, much love, much love.